We here at Locke's Law Firm also represent workers who have been deprived of their legally entitled wages. Common law wage theft. Now there are a lot of statutory laws in New Jersey. There's the New Jersey Wage and Hour Law. In Pennsylvania, there's the Wage and Hour Law. And in federal law, there's the Fair Labor Standards Act. And the most common version of that, the classic version of that, are entities that will not pay their workers proper minimum wages. We just recently dealt with a case involving some workers at local daycares, at which they might have been entitled to minimum wage and their paycheck might have said minimum wage, but then it included all these deductions for the standard uniform or classroom supplies, or mandatory participation in various other things that funded the school. And all things put together, it actually meant that these workers were working less than a minimum wage rate. And that's illegal. At the very least, employers are entitled to provide their employees with at least the statutory minimum wage. And it's different amounts in different states. There's a federal law and there's a New Jersey law on minimum wage, but you're at least entitled to that. But there's also more evolved ways that employers take advantage of their employees, steal money from their employees. We represented some mortgage brokers at a well-known banking institution at which they got certain amounts and it was over minimum wage. That wasn't the problem. But then employers were deducting from their paychecks all these other amounts that employers said were to market the employees, and therefore the employees should be responsible for paying that. And unfortunately for those employers, and fortunately for the actual employees, deductions are strictly regulated under state law, and the banking institutions should have been aware of that, and they weren't. And so they were illegally deducting these amounts from their employees, which is wage theft. They were stealing money that was legally entitled to those employees. Finally, there are situations where the worker should be entitled to overtime, which is time and a half for their legally entitled work. And the federal law guarantees you that overtime if you work over 40 hours or over 80 hours over a 2-week period. And we at Locke's Law Firm have represented large classes, large collectives of people across the country that work at various retail establishments, various restaurants, various other things that didn't get their properly entitled overtime. And you're entitled to that as well. Keep in mind all those things. Employers will take every opportunity if they can to take advantage of employees that don't know their rights and don't know what their obligations are under the law. And so that's why if you think you're being taken advantage of, look into it, because there are a lot of protections under the law for workers.